Hello, and welcome to I'm Too Busy. I'm Christina Flach, your host. I'm a celebrity makeup artist and CEO with a passion for all things beauty, wellness, and success. On this show, I'll take you on exciting journeys, sharing personal stories and insights from inspiring entrepreneurs. Together, we will explore manifestation, health, wellness, and the secrets to thriving in life and business. Let's jump in and get inspired. Hi, I'm Christina Flach, and I'm too busy, and I'm sure you are as well. Welcome to my first show. I'm so excited to be here, and I can't wait for you to meet my dear friend, Samantha Tradelius. She's an extraordinary woman with so many accomplishments. I'm just going to bring her on and let her tell you all about everything. Hi,
Hey,
girl.
how are you?
How are you? I'm
So
good. Thanks for being here.
Anytime. I'm excited.
Oh my God. So let's just do it, okay? Why don't you just tell us a bit of an overview of all the amazing things that you do?
All the things that make me too busy.
Yes, that make you too busy. That every time we talk to each other, it's like, oh my God, I'm too busy.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of different hats I wear, as many of us women out there are doing every single day. First and foremost, I'm a mother. I've got two incredible daughters that are in their teens. So it's a rough and bumpy road around here lately. I am an entrepreneur. I've been in the risk management space for over 25 years, selling insurance, being the boss, being a, serial problem solver in a lot of different ways for all kinds of things, risk management. I am an executive director and founder of a nonprofit called the Sparkle Foundation, which serves single mothers all over California. And most recently, we've moved into Arizona as well. I'm an author. I'm a podcast host. I'm a fierce supporter of all things she all the time. And I, drink a lot of coffee. I swear a lot. I wear black all the time. I mean, and pretty much that's all you need to know. That's it.
That's it.
That's
probably
all.
The last two things mostly, right?
Indeed.
So tell me, how do you keep balance in your life?
I always love that word, right? Because it's just kind of a bunch of BS, if you want my honest opinion. because I don't really feel like there is balance, and the word of, keeping it all, the work life and the mom life and all that. I mean, every day looks different for all of us. And so I really think it's how you allocate your time to work for you is, the key to creating that harmonious moment in your life. And so some days are real big mom days. Some days are real big, insurance me days. Some days are really big sparkle philanthropy days. And every day just really does look different. That's how I manage it.
Do you feel like you're hard on yourself, or do you think you're as nice to yourself as you are to others? Because I find as a woman that I am constantly trying to break the habit of beating the hell out of myself. So I'm just wondering, do you have that same issue with you, or do you feel like you've kind of figured out a way to be kind to yourself and to get all your things done?
I mean, there are days where I lay down and I go to bed and I feel like a complete hero, and days where I lay down and I just feel like a zero. And there's not a lot of in between, because you're constantly, I feel like a lot of times, letting one part down where you want to be able to allocate energy, but there just really isn't any left in the day. I think As I get a bit older, I tend to manage my time better and smarter, and to make it make more sense to where I go to bed and I don't feel terrible. But there are days I definitely beat myself up, and there are days that I definitely celebrate. So I try to have the celebration days more as I age.
That's good. You just have to be kind to yourself, and I also think it's a really good example to set, especially with your daughters, that they see how hard you work and that you're not just constantly beating on yourself, because that's what's going to happen to them if they see us doing these things. So we definitely, I know as a mom, because you're an amazing mother, that you're doing everything you can to keep these girls on track.
It's like I said, it's a pretty bumpy road. And, a lot of the times that I do feel that I'm failing, have to do with, because I got to let like one kid down because I've got to be over here, or I've got this commitment. And a lot of it now, I've just been bringing them to events or to things that, maybe kids wouldn't necessarily go to, but because a lot of it's like philanthropy and events and things that revolve around my Sparkle world, it just makes sense. And they're just a part of the program, because I'd rather bring them with me than have them stay at home or have to have a babysitter.
No, I think it's great. Why don't we talk a little bit about Sparkle? Because I have been since the very beginning a big supporter of Sparkle. I think it is just such a magnificent and brilliant idea that you've turned into a dream that's come true. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, thank you. So I actually even think, because I mean, you and I've known each other for more than 10 years. So I think even before I was an official nonprofit, you were, involved. The idea started from, just a girl wanting to make a difference in the world and not finding what she wanted. So I figured out a way to make an impact directly and started gifting Christmas over 21 years ago to single moms. The program grew and grew. And in 2016, I decided, okay, let's, become a little bit more legit and form a full-blown 501c3. So I did, having literally no idea what I was doing. Total, like, throw some spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. Now, almost 8 years later, we have served over 10,000 lives, brought in millions of dollars, given
Oh,
it all back to
amazing.
the community, expanded efforts not only to the Bay Area, San Francisco, Sacramento, Los Angeles, and now into Phoenix. We have over 750 volunteers. We do microloans. We do enrichment scholarships, Christmas backpacks, gratitude boxes. I mean, we're doing the work and we're having such a great time doing it. And it feels so good to do good, as you know.
The do-goodery, because we love doing do-goodery, right?
I'm a do good junkie.
I
I
have
say it all the time.
totally. I have been to many wrap parties, getting the backpacks ready, and I can't even share the feeling that you get from all these amazing people. There's children, there's moms, there's dads, there's all these amazing people that come together as a group. We all work together, and it's just the most beautiful thing. And I just commend you for the extraordinary work that you do for the community and making the world a better place.
Hey, you know what? We're doing it together. And thank you for celebrating the moment, because it is a really magical moment when you do have a room of 350 plus people doing something for someone else. I mean, that's a pretty intense thing to soak in, and to be able to create that space for people is a really big responsibility. And we all take it pretty seriously on Team Sparkle. So thank you for recognizing it. And thank you for
Oh,
being
it's
such a
just
supporter.
Oh, it's just such a joy. And I look forward to it every time that I'm able to participate and help. But I also think it's just such a great example that you're setting for the girls of, how to make a difference. It's not just writing a check. It's like getting down and dirty and, you know, asking friends for donations and getting people to come together and do all these amazing things. And I just, what do they say? Like, what do they tell you? Do they say anything or?
No, they're totally into it. I mean, and as they've gotten bigger, like, they're much more involved. Bardo, my oldest, she's almost 14. She sits on the board as a junior board member. So she's involved in,
Oh, cool.
the process and the management of the organization. Monroe is still, 11. But both of them, I mean, they see those big trucks come in and those boxes show up at the house and they know, okay, here we go again. But it's really, I think the coolest part is to watch them tell people what it is they're doing and what it is we do. And that part, it's just who they are, and it's all they've ever known. And I hope very much that when they become adults, they continue the legacy of giving back, whether, Sparkle's still around or they start their own or get involved with a cause that suits them.
Where do you want to see this going? I mean, you've gotten into like 2 states now and all these big cities. Like, where do you think you can go? How many more states are you going to try and get into in the next 5 years?
I battle with it. I really do, because I'll be coming up. I always gave myself a timeline of, like, okay, 10 years as a executive director and a founder, maybe that I pass the torch. But I'm like, God, I'm just like getting started, man. Like, I feel like the bigger we get and the more reach we have, I don't want to say the easier it gets, but it's the work speaks for itself. So, I mean, when I go out and I ask or I talk about what we're doing, I don't feel like I'm, having to be nervous or try really hard. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing. And why wouldn't you want to get involved? I mean, my pie in the sky or my BHAG has always been to have, Sparkles in every major metropolitan city, because there are single moms everywhere that could use our services. And, as long as I've got boots on the ground, I mean, we've got the Sparkle in the Box model built. We know what works. And so as long as we've got a team that can get out there and implement, I mean, we're ready to go.
That's so great. Tell me like one of your favorite stories of someone that you've made a difference for in their life.
There's so many, and it's so interesting because I get so emotional as the years go on, because you do so much of the back end work and you get to know these folks on a paper level, and then you see them in real life and it just like rips your soul out because now it's a person attached to like all this work you've been doing. I mean, I think some of the greatest stories are, where I'll have my sparkle hat on and somebody will come up to me in the market and just, say thank you or acknowledge, what the organization has done for them. I mean, those moments are really tender. And, I still will like, I'll have a really good poker face in front of them, and then I'll go sit in the car and just bawl my eyes out because it's really
Oh,
emotional. Also, when you have a mom come back and wrap gifts or nominate another mom the following year, I mean, those moments I think are my most favorite because that's really the full circle.
that's extraordinary. I love that so much. So tell me a little bit about your podcast that you've been doing for the last few years.
I mean, you've been on it. It is
Yes, I have.
who do Fleece and I think we are. So Stacy,
I
aka Fleece, we have been friends for
Please,
like
your best friend.
bosom buddies, and we decided during COVID, like, we know all these incredible women doing really cool stuff, like let's share their stories. So we just got on Zoom and we're like, let's do a podcast. So we recorded. We had no idea what we were doing. It was literally like, let's just record it and put it on. We didn't edit, mainly because we didn't know how, and it was just, let's just see where this goes. Well, almost 4 years later, we've interviewed over, like, I think we're just about to 200 episodes. When we go back in session, it'll be like 195, I think, is where we're at now. Women all over the
That's
world.
amazing.
I mean, it's the most incredible thing, as you're going to find. Like, women are doing incredible things, like more than just getting up and breathing every day, and to have a platform to share their stories, whether they're creators, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, social justice fighters. I mean, so many great things are going on. So it's a real honor to be able to share their stories, and we're just having a blast.
It's so great. And do you have people just constantly sending you information about, please let me get on your podcast? I want to tell you my story.
We do now. Like, before we didn't, and it would be hard
Yeah,
to, like, at first it was like our friends or people we knew, and then we hired, someone to kind of help us get out there. And now, I mean, we're already booked up through the end of October, which is
that's
crazy.
amazing.
I'm like, who are we? We're not those girls, but I guess we are.
You are those girls. You are.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. We've also partnered up with some really cool female entrepreneur groups that have been able to, we've been able to partner with them and do a lot of their interviews. So it's just been a really fun journey that's opened up a lot of doors, and we've met a lot of really incredible people.
Don't you feel that, like, almost like ignorance is bliss? It's best that you didn't know, because if you knew how much hard the work would be, who knows what you would do, right? My dear friend Tyler Florence, who's my client, he always says if anyone knew how hard it was to be exceptional, no one would do a goddamn thing. And I kind of agree.
No one who do a goddamn thing is right, because it is hard. I mean, even just scheduling an interview, you have to research. You have to really know what you're talking about, because if you're going to have somebody sitting across from you, like, you need to know what what the deal is, and it's a lot. And making sure it's relevant and people would be interested. That's the other thing. Like, is anybody going to listen to it? That's a whole nother like one of those things in the back of your head. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot of work and it is hard, but it's, the things that bring you joy and the things that you find purpose in, I think, are things that you're willing to spend the energy and the time to, hone in on and make as best as they possibly can be.
I love that. So what do you find with most of the people that you've had on your show? What do they have in common?
They're just badasses. It's like everybody's got these incredible journeys. I mean, even like you and me, like, our stories, they're not these like straight lines of like, I grow up and I'm going to do this and my life will be this, and then here I am. No. It's like women go down the Lombard Street of crazy curves and turns to get to be the people that we're supposed to be. And rightfully so, because all those twists and turns and wrong turns and fall downs make you who you are. And so I think that part of it is the coolest. I also think having space for women that don't have a huge platform, that are just like the gal around the corner that is just super awesome, but you might not never hear her story because, like, she doesn't have a platform or she hasn't had a huge tragedy or something occur, is also really cool. Right. Because the everyday gal is doing really cool stuff.
think it's surprising, not surprising, but I think everyone has a story. And like,
Mhm.
that's one of the blessings of my job being a makeup artist, is getting someone in my chair and hearing their story. And it doesn't have to be the celebrities or the famous people. It's sometimes just someone that has a normal job and a normal life. But I've heard the most extraordinary stories. And that's why I wanted to start doing this show, because
Mhm.
everyone's always, they're too busy. And why, and it fascinates me. And I love that part of hearing everyone's story of, how did you get to this place? Did you ever think you would get to this place? And now you're at this place. So now where are you going to go?
And now what are you gonna do? And I always love when people's like, you're too busy. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I am too busy, but I will always make time for the things that are important in my life or in that moment of needing to be important. And I really think that women, it's really organizing and managing your time is like the absolute secret to success. Because when you can master the management of your time, you could do anything.
Oh, definitely. I think dreaming big, I don't think we can dream big enough, because I think you have to get to dream to a place that you're almost incredibly uncomfortable. And then all these amazing things happen. And so, what do you feel like has been taken you from somewhere, a place that you feel so uncomfortable, but where has it led you?
You and I have talked about this before. Like getting uncomfortable is where the magic is. It's where the juicy good stuff is. So
Yes.
talk about being, in my like 35-ish. I had two young children. I had a insurance business, and then all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to start a nonprofit. I didn't know anything about anything, and jumped into a world head first that was like completely different than I knew how to run a business. I knew how to sell insurance. I had no idea how to run an organization at the level that, it now is. I had no idea what it meant to, manage a volunteer workforce that was like, in my real job, I could say, hey, Christina, these are our deliverables. I need them by 5 o'clock, and then all of a sudden they're there. Well, in my nonprofit world, Christina, who has a full-time job and isn't getting paid, is going to be working on her time schedule, not mine. So realizing how to communicate and get the desired results because you needed to surround yourself with a team that was as excited and motivated as I was to get this job done, in addition to like our day-to-day life and kids and family. I mean, these types of things were so scary, so uncomfortable, such a learning process. And it really has taken me, this group that my board right now has been with me for almost 10 years, prior to us actually forming. And it has taken me that long to get this team together that functions on all the right cylinders all the time. But it's really was hard.
I think one of the gifts that you have, and you have so many, but I think one thing that you have in you is you inspire people. You inspire people to greatness. You inspire people to go the extra mile. And I think that's why you've been so successful with Sparkle, getting so many people enthusiastic about this dream you've had, and making such a huge difference. And what I really love about the Sparkle experience, I guess that's what we'll call it, is just how it's not just a bunch of, it's not women, it's women and children. It's like all these kids are from a young age really learning to make a difference. And I think that's what changes the world, is when you can get kids, involved in something that they're passionate about and that they see a difference, and then it's just going to make, they're going to keep doing this forever.
Hopefully. I mean, that would be
In
the
some
legacy.
capacity. It may not be that, but it might be some other charity or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that they would continue on and figure out that the world is much bigger than just themselves. We live in San Francisco area, and as you know, it's like we have this little bubble that we live in. And so when you see the way that the rest of the country and other parts of the environments live, it's like it's really important to showcase like our kids, that there is a whole big old world out there that there's a lot of different things that we can get involved with and do. And whether it's, Christmas or cleaning up the beach or packing lunches or education, I mean, whatever you find passion in, jump in and do something to make this world a better place. I think that's like my big, like high level big, bold statement that I would like to leave as my legacy. Like, get out there and make this world a better place in any way you possibly can. And you mentioned like something about being inspiring, and thank you for saying that, first of all, because I never really think of myself in that way. But it's interesting when I'm into something, man. If you're around me and you've got a pulse, like, you're going to hear about it and you're going to be into it too. And I think that is a little bit of a superpower, because I can rally the troops, but then I'm also there doing the work right alongside them. So we're doing it together. And I think that's one of the parts of being a leader, is being able to do the work together. And that's how you're really going to get a really great following, is being one of the team.
I love that. I want to hear more about this and everything else, but we have to take a commercial break, and we will be back in 2 minutes.
Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show, for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Hi, I'm Christina Flach, and welcome back to I'm Too Busy. And we are chatting with my dear friend, Samantha Tradelius.
Hello. Here we are again.
Yes. So let's get back to what we were chatting about your charity. So what do you find to be the most challenging aspect of it? Is it getting funding, getting people to help? Like, what is it the biggest challenge, right now with your foundation?
I think my expectations, I am my biggest challenge. How's that? Because I want everything. I always want everything done right now. And, a lot of times I, had to learn to be patient and understand the process. Fundraising is always the hardest part. The organization has grown so much that it's, I don't want to say that we don't have to go and pound the pavement like we used to, but I mean, this organization was built off a $25 or $50 donation. And, last year I'll be 100%. I mean, we were over $500,000 in money received and given out. I mean, we are doing some incredible stuff. So, I mean, I think I am my worst enemy, or my biggest roadblock, just with my expectations. But it's also like, that's what keeps the wheel turning, is that, focus and want to be bigger and better. And so I think, finding that happy balance in myself is something I got to work on.
I love that. And you've also been in some magazines, which is super exciting. I'm always so proud to see.
Girl, I've been out there.
What was that last one? What was the last one?
It was let's see, the one I think that just came out was Best Holistic Life. I was asked to write an article about, our work. So I've written a book, but I've never written an article that was just kind of like, hey, here's your word count, go. So I went and I did it, and it was pretty cool. So I think that's the one you might be referring to.
Yes. I think we have a picture of that actually somewhere. Is that going to pop up maybe? Well, it'll show up sooner or later. So what about your book? I mean, what made you decide to go down that road to write a book? Was it something a goal you always wanted to do?
You know, it's interesting because I always wanted to write. I get asked a lot about like, how do I start a nonprofit, or, you know, the nonprofit side of things. And so I originally started writing a book about that. And I got like, you know, 1 or 2 chapters in and I go, this is so boring, and like not the directive that I want to have be my, you know, publishing debut. What I was really kind of in this time of my life was I was turning 40. I was really kind of deep diving on who I was, how I got here, you know, what's next. It was in the middle of, you know, a lockdown from the world. We were all kind of sequestered. And so I penned this book called Impact, and you were actually one of the women in it.
Yes, I was very honored.
Yes. And so it was really just kind of a nod to all these incredible women like yourselves that have kind of inspired or helped create the woman that I am. And it was, you know, basically like love letters of just like, thank you for being awesome, and here's your story. It's a little bit of a coffee table book. There was 25 women in the first book that were showcased. And a little secret is the book 2 is on its way. I am almost done with my manuscript. I've got a couple key little things I'm fine tuning. And my goal was by the end of this month coming up to have it into my editor. So that is happening. And so Impact 2 is going to be out next year.
That is very exciting. So how did you just select these people? Are they people that you work with, or are they people that you've touched their lives in different ways, or how did you select them?
The first set of women were women that had touched my life in various ways, whether it was my mother, my grandmother, you know, women like yourself, women sit on my board, mentors, you know, just women that really are on my, you know, in my corner. This one is even more of a deeper dive. These are women that I, you know, work with in the community. These are women that are, you know, leaders, community, you know, women holding that flag and making a difference in different ways. They're very special, as the first version of Women was. And so, yeah, I mean, they're women I know personally, which is also something that's kind of cool because I can kind of write their story from a personal place.
That's so cool. Let's chat a little bit about your grandmother, Gigi.
Gigi.
I know, I don't want to make you cry.
No, you know what's so funny is I have never had her come to me in dreams. And it, like, you know, when they say people pass, like they come to you, and I never have had her come to me until about like 3 months ago. I woke up and it was the weirdest thing. I was asleep and I could see her. She was coming towards me, and I was going through kind of a tough time. I had to make some really heavy decisions, and some kind of crazy stuff was going on personally. And I was, you know, in flux. And here she was, and she put her arms around me. It was one of those dreams where it's like, it was so real. Like I could feel her. I could feel her breath on me. I could feel her touching me, her warmth. And she says to me, Sammy, it's going to be okay. And I like woke up and I was totally terrified because it had never happened before. But it was like, I needed it. She knew I needed it because I needed to know that it was going to be okay. And sure enough, it was fine. But yeah, I mean, Gigi was something else. She was probably like 4'11". She was literally full
That's
of
how tall my grandma was. These tiny little women, they're so powerful.
She was a spitfire in her own right, raised 3 children in the 1950s with no spouse. I don't even want to call my grandfather. My dad's dad, okay? He took off and he was not around or there for their upbringing of my dad, my aunt, my uncle. And so she did it all by herself. And it was like in the 50s where being a divorced single mom was like not cool. It was not embraced. It was not even acknowledged. And she really struggled working multiple jobs and never asked for help. And so when I became of age and like wanted to make a difference, I mean, gravitating towards those single moms made sense because I knew like the stories I'd hear about the way that they were raised. And I knew the struggles that she went to. And I would read these letters, you know, from the Dear Santa program when I was first starting. And, you know, you'd hear stories about these women. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is just like my grandma. Like I can make a difference here. And that's really where the idea and the, foundation of the Sparkle Foundation was built as a legacy to my grandmother.
I love that. That is such a beautiful thing. It's just, someone inspired you to do something so magical and great. So I love that so much. Why don't we chat a little bit about your day job?
My insurance job. So
yes.
sexy. Yeah, so I have been an insurance professional for 25 years. I started off in the education space with my family's business, Lightspeed Learning, which we'll get into the full circle moment as I finish my resume, if you will.
Yes.
Then I met my husband, who was also in insurance, and together we, had a very successful business in commercial insurance for 20 plus years in San Francisco. And then we kind of transitioned. We were acquired a couple of years ago, and so we're both kind of still involved in the business, but in a different way. And as that's kind of transitioning, my parents are getting ready to retire. And so now here I am back in the insurance education world, which is so fun because when I started in teaching insurance, I was 17 years old and literally walked into a classroom where the teacher didn't show up and was like, okay, well, these are the people that put food on my family's table. So I'm going to come in here and pretend like I know what the hell I'm talking about. And I was 17 and I had no idea. And now,
unbelievable.
I'm 43 years old. I've got some battle wounds. I've got some tiger stripes, and I'm walking in there with a whole different angle and able to really help people with their practice of insurance. I'm really excited and have quite a few clients that I've been working with, consulting on building their books of business, helping women grow in the industry. I also just most recently took a position with the Department of Insurance, sitting on their curriculum board. So
oh my gosh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Totally. I'm like, this is major. Who am I?
Wow, look at you all grown up.
But it's cool because I get to be involved in the policies and the procedures about how the education gets structured for the state, which is pretty awesome because it's definitely something I'm involved with and very interested in and can have input. So I'm pretty into it.
So most of the people that do run through their insurance to you, are they business people? Are they homeowners? What is your demographic typically?
Yeah. So as far as my insurance, broker part of me, I deal with all kinds of different business clients, small business to big business. My specialty is definitely in property insurance. Is kind of what I, excel in. I also do quite a bit of entertainment insurance. I do different production companies, and I have some kind of fun clients I work with in that way. And then as far as the school and those types of clients, my other part, the education, those are, insurance agents trying to get, more information about different insurance products or licensing requirements for the Department of Insurance in California.
Is it challenging having a business in California?
Oh yeah. Insurance right now is really hard. It's a hard place to be, to get coverage. It's a hard place to understand coverage. If you didn't have a pretty solid book of business going in as an insurance agent in this marketplace, you could be dying on the vine. A lot of agents are, because it's just, the carriers are pulling out of the market. there's fires, there's, all these different catastrophes. All you hear about on the news is all the doom and the gloom.
Yes.
Insurance as a business is challenging right now. But I've been in it for 20 years and it's a cycle. As any industry is, you're going to see it go through its hills and valleys, and it'll even out. It's just, you got to stick with it and, just be the smart person in the room and educate yourself and help your clients, not freak out all the time.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to take another break.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and TuneIn Radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Hi, I'm Christina Flach, and we are back with I'm Too Busy with Samantha Tradelius telling us about all things that sparkle. So, my love, tell me more about this insurance part of your life.
The glamorous and sexy insurance me.
Oh, yes.
I think the best part about being, someone who is evolved in the industry is, a lot of my clients, when they needed insurance, they went through the Yelp or wherever and found me on Google or whatever it was, and were maybe starting their business. And now 10, 15 years later, they're, very successful in their businesses. So I think it's been really fun to be a part of their journey. And a lot of my clients I've had for, 15, 20 years. And so, we're old friends, but it's also been really nice to be a part of their, their little board of directors when it comes to being their risk management professional. I mean, I really enjoy that part of my job.
That's great. And so you've also started doing some consulting.
Yeah. So I had mentioned before, like I get asked a lot about, how to start a nonprofit. And that was the premise of what I thought was going to be the first book. But I, have really realized that I have a lot of, trials and tribulations and things that work and didn't work. And, if someone needs assistance, I'm definitely able to help them start a nonprofit, grow a nonprofit, fundraise, all that kind of fun stuff. So I have that part of a consulting basis. And then I also do a lot of consulting with insurance agents that, need help with markets. They need help growing their business, running their business, or just, general insurance, overall knowledge to help, develop their bottom line. So those are two different parts of my little consulting. I've been doing it for years anyways. It was just something I made a little more formal in the last
right.
Yeah.
What is the best advice that you can give someone that wants to start a foundation?
I think the best advice is really figuring it out. Like, what is it you're trying to accomplish? Is there something else that's already out there and existing that you could jump into? Because to sit in this seat as an executive director, it's a wonderful hat to wear and a big, seat to sit and fill, but it's a lot of work. And so a lot of times I think we don't understand all that goes into it. So if there's an organization that is doing what you're trying to do, jump in with them for a little bit and see if you can, aid there and learn. If you don't find what you need, like my situation was, I didn't find what I wanted. So that's why I did it myself. Would I have done it any differently? I don't think I would have, but that's also just me. But right. I think that, having a nonprofit, forming a nonprofit and running a successful nonprofit is a very much a full-time gig to make it do what you want it to do.
So when you've got a new event coming up in September, I think we have a beautiful image of that. So tell us about your event that's coming on in September.
Yes, well, this was the event that just came up in May. So we have our different chapters fundraise for our different efforts. So this was Sacramento. We are a part of their Big Day of Giving, which is a 24-hour period that they open up for donations to different organizations that they, approve. So we've been doing that for a couple years. It's a good way to get some exposure. I think the image, we were talking about was our Sparkle.
There we go.
Yeah. So this one coming up is a big one. This is how we fundraise and make all these different things happen. I also really wanted to create an event that was different than everything else. I mean, I'm in the philanthropy sector. I go to a lot of events. It's like, they're like a wedding, right? Not to knock a lot of my, counterparts out there, but they're boring. It's the same rinse and repeat event.
Right.
What I wanted to create with our team is something very different. So Sparkle Brunch kind of came about. It's our second year doing it. We have an amazing partner with Beauty Heroes, which is a proprietor of Clean and Blue Beauty. And we create kind of like an Oscars gifting suite. So every single guest that comes to our event will walk with a bag of full-size products that's worth over $450. And you get to meet all the different brands that make, and they're all female brands, which is even cooler. So they get to talk about their brand. Everybody gets a full-size product. We have a beautiful lunch. It's going to be high tea themed. We have Solano County's first female DA as our keynote. Her name is Krishna. She's amazing. We also have Amanda Ramsey coming back. She's our amazing friend from Los Angeles who's an incredible vocalist. It's going to be a very special day. We've got some other special surprises. So it's September 29th. Tickets are $150, which includes all the things I just spoke of. And I guarantee it'll be an event that you won't forget. You were there last year, were you not?
I was. I had a great time. I went with one of my other besties, Diana Stobo. We had the most amazing time. I bought an amazing week in Hawaii, which I still haven't used. And Samantha is absolutely right. I go to quite a few events as well. And I have never been to an event where you get full-size beauty products. And besides yummiest yummy brunch, and everyone there was just sparkling. It was really a special day. And I was so proud of you, and, your husband and your children were there. I think we have pictures of them. And you really outdid yourself. And I can only imagine the amount of work that went into that.
It's a lot of work, as you know, with any event, you've got to start it, months in advance. So we're planning to turn it up the dial up a little bit more. These are my girls. Oh. Yes. These are.
Look at them. They're so beautiful.
They're both taller than me now. They're sassy. There's a lot of just teen energy going on, but they are special. They are special girls.
I love it. And there's you and your lovely husband.
There's my guy. Yep. We just celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary last 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Well, we're going to take another break and we'll be right back. And we're going to hear about more of the exciting life of Miss Samantha Tradelius.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Mike Zorek, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorick, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorick has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Christina Flach, and I'm too busy. Are you? We are chatting with my dear friend Samantha Tradelius about all things that sparkle.
And
so
busy.
we've talked and busy and busyness. So Sam, we have talked about your professional life, your personal life, but I want to talk more about our girly side of you.
Yes.
So tell me, what are you loving? What are you doing for workouts these days? You still going to Pilates all the time?
I still go to Pilates. I went today. I stopped for a little bit because I was kind of getting bored, but then I realized, no, this is for me. I actually, in the last, it'll be 2 years now, I hired a trainer. So I lift weights 5 days a week in addition to my Pilates. And the weightlifting is such a game changer. It makes me feel strong. It makes me feel like it's the one thing that really humbles me every single day. And I love it.
I love that. So what do you do when you're having a day that's just not flowing? What do you do? Do you take a break? Do you plodge through it? What do you do?
I could do different things. If I'm just in a place where I'm not feeling clear or, I'm just really struggling to focus, I will just get up and just walk out the door and go do something completely unrelated and get myself grounded. Sometimes it's just take a drive, just like putz around or go get a cup of coffee, just get out of the environment. As you know, I've worked from home before. Working from home was cool. And so sometimes it's hard and I get like, I need to get out of the house and just go do something. I will get up and just move around if things aren't going mentally the way I want.
What's your diet these days?
My diet.
Do you diet or you just watch what you eat, or are you one of those girls that gets to eat whatever they want? And
no, not anymore.
Look like you look.
Yeah, no, not anymore. I mean, I don't know. I love some, I'm an Italian girl, so I love my pasta, my meatballs and that kind of stuff. But I tend to eat what I want within reason, like I'm not going to eat like crap all the time because it doesn't make me feel very good. And as we age, right, things shift around a little bit more. But, I tend to eat, my normal life when I'm not traveling or on vacation is, I'm a smoothie girl. I love salads. I try to, eat, some protein, some vegetables. A nice balanced diet is kind of what I like to stick in those parameters.
That's good. So where is your happy place?
I like to go to the beach. That's my space. When I just need to ground, like I got to be by the water. And I will never live in a place that's not close to the water. That's important to me.
Yeah, I totally get it. I'm looking out at the water right now. I'm looking at the ferry leave Larkspur to San Francisco, and it is magical. We are very blessed where we live, that's for sure.
Indeed. And I think like I always, when I travel around a lot and I go, how do people live? Like I was just in Denver a couple months ago and I was like, how do people not have like an ocean? Like to me, that's just, wouldn't work.
It's so hard to even fathom, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't work. I need to be by the water.
I agree. I am the same exact. That's why we're from the same tribe. So are you reading anything fabulous right now?
Let's see. I am not really digging into anything too much. I've been focused like a lot on like at night. I read a lot of news at night. That's kind of where I get my current events. So I tend to, I read the New York Post. That's kind of the thing. I like to keep up with what's going on. TV shows though, I'm on holiday.
Ooh, what are you watching?
So I've been spending, I don't ever watch TV unless I'm on an airplane. Is the time where I can sit because you'll never or rarely will you see me sit down on the couch and watch TV. So that said, I've been watching, I love a, true crime documentary. I am that girl.
Oh,
I
okay.
just finished watching the Simone Biles Netflix show, which I can't recommend enough. She is just
Really?
the most incredible human being. I adore her. And I've also just recently gotten into Designated Survivor, which is an older Kiefer Sutherland. I think it was a Netflix show
Oh,
before.
no, it was on ABC, I think.
Oh, good. I'm hooked. I'm totally into it. PJ's not so much
And
into
that's a
it.
good one.
I'm into it. I love it.
Do you guys have shows you watch together?
We try to. He like I get down with my reality TV or my stupid documentaries. We do both like love a Dateline. We both
Okay.
kind of have short attention spans though. So for us to sit down and like deep dive into a show for a long period of time, we're both scattered. So it's hard. The last one we were both really into was Mad Men. And we watched all the Mad Men. And that's like, I think the last time we actually both really got into a show.
It's fun having a show to watch together. So, who
Totally.
would you interview? Who is your dream guest on your podcast?
My dream guest on my podcast. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I think I would love to interview, like a Beyonce or a Taylor Swift or someone that's just a mega star, just to see what it
Yeah.
is like to be at that level, entertaining and then also being such an icon for young and all women. I also think it could be interesting to, talk to people that are at a high level with politics because it's such a hot button right now. I would find that to be very interesting. And I find government and I find politics fascinating. I want nothing to do with it, but I find it fascinating.
It is fascinating because it's so not our normal world and it just seems so corrupt and weird.
Well, then watching Designated Survivor, I'm like, or what was
Yes.
the other one? House of Cards. I'm like, is this how Washington really is? And I really do think like it is just totally out of control.
Totally. Who inspires you?
My mom. My mom inspires
Aww.
me. I really find her to just be so iconic in so many ways. And I mean, I will literally call my mom every day, all the time, sometimes multiple times a day with what do you think about, how does this work? She's so smart all the time.
I love that. And how about your dad?
He's something else. He's like Yoda.
He is something else.
He is something else. He's the guy that, he gives me, we call it, his name's Mick, like Mick Jagger. And people always mess up his name. So we have like a little joke in our family where we call him Mitch, right? So we have these things we call him Mitchisms because he'll come up with just like the most like, Sammy, some days are going to be better than others, but you just got to keep going. And I'm like, whoa, Dad, whoa.
That's profound.
So it's like a Mitchism, like he just will come out with some great stuff. No, my parents they are so fun and they are, they've been married almost 50 years. They're just like
That's
the most
amazing.
fantastic people. Actually, they haven't been married 50 years. They've been married 40, I think it's 40 years this year. But they've been together forever and they're just dynamic. They're great.
I love that. So where do you see your life in the next 5 years? What do you think you're going to be doing?
Hopefully on a yacht in Portugal.
Ooh.
Once I get the girls out of school, who knows, right? Who knows? I would love to travel the world and just really, I was so focused for so long on being a grown up as a young person and really didn't take off and go travel and do all those things. Like I bought my first place when I was 18 and started my first business with my dad when I was 23. Like I really was always in such a hurry. And so I think as, my responsibility, I mean, you're never done being a parent, but once they're able to like fly the nest, I would like to see the world and enjoy the world, best I can.
How long do you think that you will have this Sparkle Foundation and how long until do you think you'll expand it to something else or do you think you're going to keep it like this?
I will always keep it like this. And like this is a non-paying job because what I was really firm on when I started it was, I wanted to make sure that every dollar in was a dollar back out because so many organizations are not transparent. You donate $100
Right.
and do it doesn't go to what you think, right? So with that respect, sparkle will always remain. Will I stop doing it when I stop having fun doing it? Absolutely, I will. Would it continue on in the same vein, as far as being, 100% in, 100%? I don't know. I don't know that anybody would do what I do for free without the same passion. Because like I said, it is a full-time job in addition to everything else I have going on, but I love it. I love what it does for the world. And I love the way it makes me feel and the people around me. So I keep going. That's important. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, when I stop having fun, I'll stop doing it.
I think that's fantastic advice. Tell my listeners, what do you want to tell the world? If you could give the world advice, what would it be?
Dream big and go do it. Right?
Kick its ass. Yes.
I mean, it's so many times you think about what do you want your legacy to be, or what do you want it to be when you're all done? And I want to be able to say I did what I wanted to do, and I went out there and made the mistakes and learned and grew and developed something that was bigger and badder and could make a difference in this world. I mean, that's really what it's all about for me. And I do that with my Sparkle stuff. I do that with my insurance, my education stuff. I mean, I really do try to leave purpose and impact every which way I move. And some days it doesn't work out the way I wanted to. You'd ask me, how do you not beat yourself up? I mean, some days are tough, and some days the world hands you a real not great sandwich, and you're just like, all right, well, I guess I got to deal with this, because this is whatever little lesson here we're supposed to be learning. But those are those lessons that make you who you are, and the tough days are worth it because it develops you into the character you're supposed to be.
Well, I love you so much. I can't thank you enough for being here with us today. And you inspire me so much. And I'm so grateful that you're my friend. And I marvel at you. And I just look forward to watching all that you and your family do. It's extraordinary. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening today. So nice to be here with everyone. And I want everyone to go out in the world, make it a better place, love big, and laugh even louder.
Yes.
So all of Sam's information will be on our notes for the show today. Is there anything else you want to leave us with, Sam?
No, I mean, just surrounding yourself with women that are doing things and going places and living and laughing and living life to the fullest is really what it's about. So, to be a partner in life with you and just, share space is really a great honor. So thanks for having me on. I never think of myself as anything special, but you made me feel special today. So thank you.
Well, you are a doll and I love you so much. So thank you so much. And I will see you next week. And we're too busy.